Think Volvo, think safety, right? That's certainly true for the Volvo V40, which not only scored the full 5 stars in the Euro NCAP tests, but also achieved the highest ever rating for pedestrian safety, a record that still stands today. However, safety doesn't have to be boring, and although the V40 shares much with the Ford Focus, Volvo's designers have expended a lot of effort on giving the V40 a look all of its own. It's worked too, and you don't need to take our word for it, with the V40 coming second only to the XC60 in Volvo's global sales figures for 2013. Despite its focused underpinnings, it's unquestionably a Volvo, and much of that stems from the strong shoulder line that runs from the front all the way to the rear lights, which, by the way, feature a rather delicious bit of detailing in the way they illuminate. Interior too is unmistakably Swedish. That means some appealing technical finishes, some of the best seats in the business, and a wide range of adjustment. There's also the now familiar floating centre stack that still looks fresh today, and provides a little extra storage space, something the cabin isn't short of anyway. It looks a little bit of a button fest at first glance, but everything's logically placed, and we've always appreciated Volvo's blindingly obvious climate controls. The dashboard is well laid out, with a clear focus on the driver, and we particularly like the thick-rimmed steering wheel and the chunky column stalks. The instruments are now entirely digital, and they boast exceptionally clear graphics and a rather elegant design by default, with 2 other modes, Eco and Performance, if you fancy a different look. They've spent a bit of time on the animations too, with smooth transitions between menus and a rather fun silhouette that appears when you turn the car off. Although not standard on all models, Volvo's Sensors Connect system offers a range of functions including navigation with full European mapping and UK postcodes, DAB digital radio, Bluetooth connectivity, the ability to store tracks on the built-in hard drive, and an extensive array of vehicle configuration options. One particularly neat touch is that the owner's manual is built into the system, so there's no need to reach into the glove box and thumb your way through the index. Volvo have opted to move the rear seats slightly inboard, and this gives rear seat passengers a better forward view and a little more elbow room, although this does obviously make it a little tight for whoever gets the middle seat. Headroom also is only adequate. Still, there are some neat touches back here, such as the little space to store your phone and other goodies, plus a pair of cup holders hidden away in the middle seat. Space in the boot is respectable, with 402 litres loaded to the roof with the seats in place, and although there's a handy underfloor compartment, it's a £100 option, while the space saver spare wheel and the jack lives beneath is a £150 option. Drop the rear seats and total space increases to 1032 litres floor to ceiling, and as long as you've added the flexible load floor option, you'll have a usefully flat area to play with, although it's a shame there's nowhere to store the parcel shelf when it's not in use. It doesn't quite fit in the underfloor compartment either. Now, engines, and there's a few to choose from. They're all turbocharged, and the range starts with 1.6 litre 4-cylinder petrol units with 120, 150 and 180 horsepower, plus a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder with 250 horsepower. The diesel range starts with the 1.6 litre D2 unit with 115 horsepower as fitted to our car, and moves up to a pair of 2 litre units with 150 and 175 horsepower. The D2 diesel is likely to be of interest to many people because it achieves incredibly low CO2 emissions of just 88 grams per kilometre, making it free of road tax, with an official economy figure of 83.1 mpg. While we couldn't get anywhere near that during our testing, we notched up a fairly consistent average around the 55 mpg mark, although on a longer journey a figure in the low to mid 60s should be easily achievable. On the road, it's a little lethargic below about 1800 RPM, but if you can keep it in the somewhat narrow power band, it's a surprisingly strong performer, with 0 to 62 miles an hour taken care of in 11.9 seconds. The 6-speed manual gearbox has been given a great shift action that makes steering your way through the ratios a pleasure, but the box does feature rather tall gearing, and some of the ratios are spaced oddly apart, presumably in order to achieve those killer economy and emissions figures. But the net result is that it is not difficult to fall out of the power band and find yourself in no man's land until the boost builds again. That said, once you've grown accustomed to it, it's not difficult to extract the best from it, and I have to say for an engine with a modest 115 horsepower, it does an admirable job of keeping up with fast moving traffic. It's fairly well subdued while it's doing it too, with just a few subtle diesel noises entering the cabin, with both wind and road noise also kept at bay. While Volvos have traditionally been given a rather stately set of road manners, the V40 actually goes about its business rather well. It's not desperately involving, but there's just enough enthusiasm behind the steering and the body control to keep things interesting. Although we did notice a tendency to crash into larger surface imperfections and make a bit of a din when driving over speed bumps. So back to safety for a minute. All V40s are fitted with the company's city safety system as standard, and this applies the brakes automatically if it detects a collision is imminent from speeds up to 31 miles an hour. You can upgrade this system by specifying a £1,900 driver support pack, and this adds an array of sensors including a radar unit in the front grille and a set of cameras and other sensors mounted on the windscreen. These combine with ultrasonic sensors around the car to provide features such as blind spot warning, cross-traffic alert, lane keep assist, plus a system to detect obstacles in your path and warn you via a series of lights at the base of the windscreen. And these also glow threateningly at you like an angry Cylon if you choose to get too close to the car in front. The system also provides what is perhaps the best adaptive cruise control system we've driven, matching your speed to that of the vehicle in front, applying the brakes to maintain a set distance if required, and even allowing you to change gear on manual cars without cancelling the cruise function. On automatic models, it will even brake smoothly to a standstill and pull away again in stop-start traffic. All very impressive. You might be wondering how much all of this is likely to cost you, and the answer is potentially less than you think. The V40 range starts at £18,995 for the T2 petrol, while the diesel models start from £20,795. It can all get a little pricey if you spend too much time ticking boxes on the options list, with our D2 test car coming in at £31,870 after nearly £6,500 worth of options. Keep it sensible though, and the Volvo V40 represents a value for money, stylish, practical and typically safe alternative to the usual suspects.